way, home. What do you all think about that? Like, when I tell you, for those, first of all, let me just say this. I have not seen the video. I have not watched the video because I don't have the heart, you all, to watch that type of stuff. But I have watched the news. I've been reading the reports. I've seen the interviews. And when I tell you all, this is downright disgusting. I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. I don't know. I'm I'm at a loss for words, you all, because I don't know, how do you explain something like that happening? Like, seriously, like, how do we explain that? I mean, I know there's a lot of fingers being pointed, the parents, the school, the this, the that. But when you think about the amount of kids that was there that jumped that woman, that thought that that was okay, that thought that that was the right ideal, to me, something bigger is going on. Something deeper is going on than us just pointing the finger at the parents. Do I say that they should be held accountable for what their kids did? Yes, they should, because the kids are minors. Do I think that some punishment should come the kids' way as well? Yes, I do. However, you all, I'll be honest, like, I'm torn. I don't know what to say would be a feasible punishment. Now, I will say this. Some of you adults are really shameful, the what you are saying about these kids. I've seen comments with adults saying, "Oh, yeah, it would have been some coffins out there. It would have been, oh, we listen, their families would be wearing t-shirts and stuff like that." Like, come on, like, adults, like, I don't get it. I truly don't get it. And I'll say this. Do I think that those kids are remorseful? I don't think, because the one little girl that they showed, listen, how she was doing her best to fight. She was fighting back a smirk, the smirk that she had on her face, because looking at that little girl, she was not sorry at all. And for the adults around her to coach her into an apology, I feel like that was unnecessary, because here's the deal. Nobody had to coach her behind to be out there, to be a part of throwing fights and kicks and punches and jumping on that lady. Nobody had to coach her into doing that, because it's what she wanted to do. So nobody should have to coach her to saying the right thing, to apologize. And so I thought that that was some BS right there. I would not have, like, no. And being a mother and you're accused of something that disrespectful. First of all, let's talk about disrespecting elders. Can we just start there? You have the audacity to put your hands on a grown woman. Like, never in the history of neverdom, back in the day, would we ever think about raising our hands to an adult and then think you gonna live to tell about it? You ain't got to worry about the neighborhood getting you, because your mama and your grandmama and your daddy, they were going to light into your behind. You wouldn't have had to worry about strangers threatening you, which, again, I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying that these kids should be threatened or harmed by any adults outside of the adult that gave birth to them, their mother. Yes, I do think that their mothers and their fathers need to put some hands on. Yes, I do. I think some kids need to be strong, pulled up, snatched up. Yes, I do. Jay, how you gonna see? That's a part of what the problem is. No, that's what the problem is right there. The parents, you got them so scared to do anything to their kids, and look at what they're doing. These folks are just running amok outside, just doing whatever it is that they want to do. And you know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I thought about this, I said, when I look at it, it's something bigger going on at play here, you all. And I just think that it's, again, just think about it. All of these kids, all of these kids thought that that was a good idea for them to jump these people. They all thought it was a good idea. How do you all, not the first person, listen, the 10th person, think about it like this, really think about it. You see 8 or 9 people jumping 2 or 3 people. What makes you as the 5th person think that it's okay to join in? What makes you as the 9th person say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get me some of this? What makes you as the 15th person, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get me some of that? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? What made all those kids think that, yeah, this is a good idea? This is a good idea. This is a good idea to do this to these people. I don't understand. The only thing that I can say is, listen, you all, these kids are possessed. These kids got the devil in them. That's the only thing that I can think of that will cause that many to be on one accord for such evilness. It's a spirit. It's an evil spirit. And people, listen, you can say what you want to say. Because again, think about it. Just think about the mindset. You can say, yeah, you know, it's the kids and it's their parents. And again, yes, accountability and responsibility needs to be had with the family, with the parents. I'm not saying that that is not true. What I'm saying, though, the bigger picture is, look at this. The mind. What in your heart, what made you think that that was okay? Like, you look at a person, like for me, I couldn't even look at the video. I haven't seen the video and I don't desire to see the video, but I can't even watch the video. But these kids were able to not only watch this, but participate with this. What's going on? What's going on with their hearts? What's going on with their minds? What are they thinking about? What are they? Again, it's a spirit. It's a spirit. It's something. It has to be something in the food. And again, for those of you that would want to have the nerve to say, Jay, I know you're not trying to take up for them. I am not taking up for anybody. I'm trying to figure out, how do we get all of this foolishness? How do you get all these kids to be on this foolishness at one time? That's what I'm trying to understand. How do you get all of that at one time? How do you get all of these kids to think that that foolishness, what they did to that woman and her family, how did they think that that was okay? Somebody explain that to me. That's what I'm trying to figure out. How do you think that that is okay? Because it's not. It's not normal. It's not cute. But enough of them got together and felt like doing that crazy-ish was a good idea. And for me, again, I think that, listen, you are, I don't know if you all believe in demons and devils, but I do. And you all witnessed it firsthand. You witnessed it firsthand. You saw them children of I'm not going to say children of the corn. You saw the children of the hood, and you saw what they did. You saw what they did. Just like all them kids from the children of the corn. Go back and watch some of these. Oh, listen, Rosemary's Baby. All these kids born with 666 in the back of their head, acting crazy like that. And it's so shameful, because they've taken prayer in anything religious, They've taken that out of the schools, right? So it's against the law. You can't have your kids praying in school. They can't pray. They can't do any of those type of things in school because it's against the law. They don't teach unless they go to like a parochial school. But if they go to a non-parochial school, then there's no praying in there. There's no religion. There's no talking about God. There's no talking about any of that. However, because it's, we don't want to offend we don't want to offend. Now watch this, listen to this. They don't want to offend people because of the different religions and this and that. You don't want to offend them. But you will expose them to this foolishness. You all will, I'm getting so mad, look. You all will expose them to the foolery. I feel like I'm a kite. I identify with a bird. You all will expose them to that. The system, the government, they'll expose them to that. Oh, well, I got two mommies and I have two daddies, but you won't expose them to God. You won't expose them to praying. You won't expose them to any of that because it's a sensitive matter. Or we don't want to confuse each other. We don't want to confuse them because what they practice at school, they may not. Well, you listen, you don't say that you don't want to confuse them because they have no problem with confusing them with all these agendas. And I'm just going to say it like that, with all these agendas. So that's definitely not the case. So the world doesn't care about pushing all this evil stuff. But then when it comes back and it shows out like it just did the other day here in Chicago with those kids jumping that woman and her kids, it shows up. So you all are breeding this negativity in these kids and then wondering why they act the way they do. Yes, again, it's some stuff at home. It's a lot to do with at home too, parents. You do not get off. You do not get a get out of jail free card. You do not, because guess what? A lot of you all have no idea on what your child is up to. I will say that again. A lot of you all have no idea what your child or children are up to. You know why? Because you still out here trying to rip and run somewhere. You trying to turn up. You trying to find the next dude. You trying to find the next chick. And meanwhile, your children are out here running amok. And see, from the comments that I'm reading, you better get your kids because everybody not playing with your kids. Everybody not playing with your kids. Everybody, they're not concerned whether these kids are whether they're kids or not. These people, a lot of these adults are saying you ran up on the wrong one, because run up on the wrong one and it's going to be a whole different story. And this is adults talking about harming or the harm that they would do to a kid. So you all that have kids, listen, stop trusting these folks. You need to know what they're up to. And I don't understand. For me, first, can we do this? Why do your kid need a phone? If you, to me, in today's society, I would not feel comfortable with my kid going to school by themselves on public transportation. Oh God, no. We're not even going to talk about the situation that just happened the other day. It's always something going on this public transportation. As of lately, these trains and these buses are not how they used to be. But parents, we got to do better. We have to do better. If it is possible, if you are able to get around, why? I just can't see myself trusting my kid to walk to school by themselves. I couldn't trust putting them on public transportation by themselves. Look at what just happened to the woman and her kids. She walking her kids and they still don't care. So what do you do? How do you handle this situation? What is the appropriate thing that should be done? How should this situation be handled? Because again, just looking at it, I'm just like, God, like I wouldn't know, just being on both ends of it, just looking at it from both spectrums. What if that was somebody in my family? How would I feel? How would I want that situation to be handled? If my family member was the victim, how would I feel if my family member was the perpetrator? How would I feel? I know one thing as a mother, I'm not sitting up there condoning this ish. If I looked at, you show me the video and I saw my child getting and behaving like that, oh, it's gonna be some furniture moving up in there between me and my child, up in wherever I'm at. Now I'm gonna be in trouble because you're not gonna put me to no open doggone shame. That's what you're not gonna do. When you leave here, you represent me. But I'm gonna tell you like this. A lot of these kids, they are doing whatever it is that they want to do on these phones because they have these phones. They create these groups and they plan and they link up. And this is the result of all these kids having phones and having social media, and their parents are not monitoring what they are doing. If your child has social media, you should be their friend on social media. You should be inspecting their phones and figuring you should have the password. Oh, Jay, that's doing too much. I trust my child. I don't. I don't. I don't. It's too much trust. And guess what? Look at what your kids is out there doing. You trust them. No, you just don't want the hassle and the responsibility of actually parenting and checking up on what your kids are doing, because I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. You got multiple kids, you got to work, you got to do all of this. Don't nobody got time to be doing no random checks through these phones and all. You better make time. You better make time. Because listen, if you don't, the world gonna make you make time. God forbid something happened to your kids because they're out here in all this devilment and all this foolishness, and then something happened to your kid, and then the first thing you want to say, my kid hey, she ain't never. Oh, wait a minute now, ma'am. Have you seen her social media? Have you seen what she out here saying and doing? You all are not paying attention to what your kids are out here doing. Listen, you got to go back to the old school. There is no privacy. Stop the privacy in your house, okay? I want my kids, they on the honor roll, and hey, it don't matter. It don't matter. Here's the thing, especially if you know you used to be a mess, that's the same blood that runs through your kids' veins, okay? It's easy. The little girl was saying, again, the lady was like, tell them what kind of grades you get. I get A's and B's, and I'm a girl. Bye. Okay, look. I'm like, I was not for all that baby fied stuff, because had I been the mother, I would have popped up right. Look, you was out there cussing that woman out, and you had your full voice. Don't come in with that little old baby fied voice, because we already know what that potty mouth of yours is capable of doing. It's capable of cussing grown folks out. So sit up here and have a conversation, and you hear when these people talking to you. But we want to side with our kids. My kids ain't never, they ain't, hey, we're going to stop that. I'm going to say, look, now, I don't think that my child would do that. However, let me see, because it's some spirit, because I know that man can be a spirit sometimes, okay? So I'm not going to put it past you, okay? So let's just look and see. But you have to get in these kids' social media. You got to get in it. Listen, any account that they have, all the cell phone, first of all, y'all let them keep the phone. Just they listen. Some of them be glued to. You talk about getting me warm. Let me see a 8-year-old, an 8 through a 15-year-old, 16-year-old on the phone, and ain't nobody got no job. Woo! Listen, look. Now I'm being told you too old fashioned. These kids. That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. You know why? Because don't nobody want to be old fashioned. Everybody want to be their kid friends. I'm not your kid friend. Okay. I'm not the friend. I'm the auntie that will clown. Okay. So I on you. So don't. We're not friends. No. It's a time and a place for everything. But you all are letting y'all kids just run amok and do whatever it is that they want to do, and there is no accountability. No accountability. Now, again, how do we handle this situation that these people, these kids, these possessed little demons, because again, that's exactly what it was. These possessed little demons that got out there and did this to this woman. These kids, listen, they need an exorcism. I'm going to tell you what they need to be doing, okay? First of all, y'all need to get them in somebody's church. They need to be in that. Listen, we go back to the old school. Have them in church. Listen, when the church doors open every day, have them up. Listen, I'm telling you, you got to get them in not these new churches where, the pastor flying in on a Bentley. No, you got to get them in one of them churches that believe in praying, that believe in rebuking these little kids. Listen, they had them down there on their knees from Tuesday to Sunday night. Take them home, wash them up, get them for school, and bring them back. That's all their life need to be consist of, is just being in church. Listen, you sit up in church long enough, baby, you up in there Tuesday for prayer, Wednesday for Bible study, Thursday for choir practice, Friday for prayer, Saturday you serving somebody, Sunday you for. Listen, they not gonna have a chance to do nothing else. You know why? Because you gonna know where they at. You picking them up and you having responsibility of where they are. Take those phones. Stop letting them have access to everything. Some of these kids, they got the latest iPhone. What they need? What do you need an iPhone 75 for? What? For what? When you are 10 years old, what does your child need an iPhone 75 for? They got the little iPhone watch, the iPhone glasses. What do they need all that for? Are they working on some type of project or something for their job? Like, I don't understand. What do they need all those high-tech gadgets for? Please help me understand. What do they need that stuff for? They should just have a basic little phone. If you're the type of parent that say, you know what, Jay, my kid has a phone just because of exactly what happened to the woman and her kids the other day. That's why my child has a phone, so that I can keep in contact with them. I can respect that. But you do know that they have these little phones, the little cube phones, that all it do is ring. They can't take no pictures on it. They can't be on social media with it. The phone is for emergencies. For those parents that say that that's the reason that they have their kids with the phone, let's stop it. Because if it was, you would not be spending $2,000 for a phone just so that you can say, oh, well, they got it because I just want to make sure my kid is safe. And no. They got phones that cost $39. But see, y'all gonna be your kid gonna walk around with their lip poked out and they gonna have a problem with the phone. Here's the thing. You either take it or you don't. The choice is yours. If you don't like this phone right here, that it's only for emergencies, then you won't have it. But I feel like, listen, you need to go back to the old school. Listen, we wasn't in there on the phone all day long. You wasn't gonna do that. You were not gonna be up in there on your mama phone all day long. I don't pay. Listen, this is my phone bill because baby, they will tell you in a minute who paying the bills. Okay, they will tell you. You're not gonna be tying up my phone line. Parents, if your kids have a phone, let me ask this. Do you all let them keep the phones in their rooms at night? Oh, I trust them when they up in their sleep. I don't. I don't trust them. I can trust you if I see you just like this. And even then, I don't trust you all the way because I don't have my good specs in, so I don't trust them. Start taking those phones. Start looking and seeing what your kids are up to, because you will be surprised to learn the other side of your child. See, a lot of us only know the side that our kids show to us. And they're going to show you their best you. Trust me, my son is 27. And I say, listen, we would talk. And I say, I ain't caught you doing nothing. He didn't get in trouble. I said, but that's just because I don't know. You never got caught. But would I put anything past him? No, because see, his mama was slick and his daddy was kind of slow. So I know right there, slick and slow don't really match, okay? Slick, because I got away with a lot of stuff because I was the kid that got good grades and all this and that. And listen, I was tight with mine. But was a big devil, not out here fighting and disrespecting grown folks and all this, not that. But I was a spirit nevertheless within my own rights, doing things that I know I had no business doing and didn't get caught. Because I kept a tight ship. Everything was in order. So Sister Vance never knew that this one over here, that she had a demon. Okay? But she had a demon. And so when I became a mother, I was like, well, wait a minute now. This blood runs through the one that I gave birth to. So now that's one of two things. He gonna be good like his mother, or he gonna be getting caught like his daddy. So he kind of took after me because he didn't get caught doing much. But I did give him this disclaimer. I said, here's the deal. I know you a cool dude. You cool, you got everything together. I say, but let me just say this. If you do something and they lock you up and you did it, you gonna be there. Because that's what my mama told us. Anybody get locked up and you did it, you gonna stay there. Okay, so just make sure in everything you do, you have an understanding. So when we left the house, we had an understanding on what she expected. So listen, you do your foolishness accordingly. It ain't gonna do nothing. There was no law breaking that was gonna happen because that's what she said, But she ain't say, going out there freaking on them boys and stuff. She ain't say all that, baby. So listen, out there, okay? Y'all know what I'm saying? But you out here doing all of this crazy stuff. When I tell you these kids are on another level, these kids are on another level. These kids are on a whole new level. And it's so sad and it's so disheartening. And it's just like when you hear about this happening to this kid and that kid, when we think about what just happened yesterday with those kids jumping that lady and her kids, these kids are cutting their own lifespan off. You cannot do that type of stuff and then think you gonna live the day. I'm like, God, If you don't believe in the Bible and in Jesus, and I don't got nothing. Look, that's on you. But I'm gonna tell you what I believe and what I see and what I'm observing. These kids are cutting their own lifespan off because of what they are doing. Please teach your children. Teach your children. Stop letting these games raise them. Stop letting the TV raise them. Stop letting these kids be on these phones. And listen, when they do something, let them take accountability for it. Do I think physical harm should be done to those kids by adults? No, I don't. Do I think that those kids should go to an adult jail? I don't. I do think that maybe they need, first of all, they definitely, okay, let me just tell you my opinion and what I think should happen. First, by now, they should have got rearranged by their parents. That's the first thing. That should have already happened. And each time I see it on the news, I'm going to get mad all over again. And I'm about to tear this whole house up with you in it. That's the first thing. The second thing, I think that they need to be analyzed psychologically by a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Some of these kids, listen, you need to get the priest up in there. You need to get the pastor up in there. Whatever you got to do, whoever you got to get in there to numb yada reiki out of your kids, all that foolishness, because it's something deeper than that. It's something deeper. And it's up to you as the parent to get to the root of what foolishness is going on with your child. But it's definitely some psychological evaluations need to take place. Yeah, Jay, I hear all that, but what type of punishment? Because these kids need to be punished. What type of punishment are you talking about? Let's get to that. These kids cannot get away with, you are absolutely right. And I'm never saying that these kids should not be punished for what they did. So what do I think? I think that they should go to some type of boot camp. Listen, send them away to a boarding school or somewhere where there's going to be some strict structure. Send them away for about 3 to 6 months. Send them to a military boot camp facility, something where there will be no sweets and no laughing, no all that good time. Yeah, that's going to be on pause until we reprogram you. So each child, their time frame will vary on how long it takes to reprogram them demons, because they still at a pretty young age where a lot of them can be saved, a lot of them can be reprogrammed. But to let them just, they gonna get suspended for a week? I think not. They gonna get suspended for the rest of the school year. And what is suspending them gonna do? Suspending them is not going to do nothing but give them more time to go out there and jump on somebody else. So suspending them and there is no plan, no action, is not going to do anything. So I'm not for suspending them unless you sending them to a facility. Again, I'm not saying jail. Thank God nobody was unalived in this situation. Thank God for that. But I do feel bad for the family, and they are definitely going to need psychological help as well, because that's horrifying. So I'm sure they all are suffering with PTSD after dealing with something like this. But how do we prevent this from happening? These kids, look, these kids are just out of control, a whole bunch of them. Listen, this stuff that happened the other day, and guess what? They come back the next day and these kids are still bullying kids in school. They still jumping people every day. People getting jumped today, getting jumped yesterday. It ain't stopped. You think because this made the worldwide news, you think that this done stop these hell raisers? It has not. It has not. Because they know, they see the videos being glamorized of them doing the deed, but they need to make the punishment go viral as well. See, that's the only way that this is going to stop as well, is because we're sitting up here, people are sharing the video, and the kids like, I'm finna go viral, I'm finna beat them, we finna go viral, watch this. Let the punishment go viral as well. See, because a lot of these kids know that they can do this and get away. That you think they're worried about being suspended or being expelled? They don't care about that. And I think that the parents need to be held financially responsible as well. So I was doing some research, and it was some of the articles that I was seeing and interviews are saying that the mother is going to sue the parents, as she should. As she should. As she should. Jay, the parents didn't have anything to do with it. That's the problem. That's the problem. That is the problem. And if you are a parent that you are working hard, I mean, I sympathize with that. But again, at the end of the day, you have to put some other measures in place so that your children are accounted for and they are doing the right thing and they are not left to rip and roam by themselves, because that was too many kids out there by themselves, no parents coming to pick them up. What kind of foolishness? We have to do better. We have to do better. But drop in the comments, you all. Listen, if it's something negative, if you're going to say something to harm them as an adult, don't drop that comment. Just don't. If you're saying something about, it's gonna be coffins and t-shirts, and do not drop that type of message, because I don't support or condone that. Because again, at the end of the day, yes, they did something very heinous and very disrespectful and very brutal, but I'm still not comfortable with saying adults should, handle a kid like that, in that, they wasn't acting like no kids, so I'm a treat. I understand that, but I'm still torn on that part. I'm still struggling with the part where I'm going to be okay with somebody, an adult, saying what they would do to harm a kid. I'm not okay with that. I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm not going to say that. I just think that there are some other things that need to be in place. But again, I do think that the parents should be held accountable for their kids' actions. I do think that. And, listen, sue them civilly, prosecute them. If you got to prosecute the parents criminally because the kids are kids, listen, do what you got to do. But some lessons have to be learned. It's some rough justice that has to take place in this situation. But parents, if you have if you have kids, please check your kids' phones. Please see what your kids are up to, because they're planning evil little things like this. Look at their social media. Listen, heck, most of them don't even need to be on social media. That's why the stuff that they get into at home, and then they take it to school, and then they finish it there. Take these phones. These kids don't, if your kid don't have no phone, they don't have a way to be in no foolishness unless they're being bullied. So now that leads to another issue. What are these schools going to do about bullying? Because that's a serious issue that's not being addressed. And I can tell you this, from years ago when my son was in grammar school and he was being bullied. Now listen, I will say, I'm up there every day dropping him off, and I'm just like the mother did. I'll be doggone if I'm right here with my kid. because these the little two little gang banging little boys in the area, you know how they be trying to recruit them at an early age. You either gonna join us, not over here, not over here, partner. We're not gonna do that. But I'm telling the school, telling the principal, so trying to get some parent teacher conferences. Of course, that ain't gonna happen. Listen, you be better off, you have a better chance of being your hair turning blonde without dyeing it than getting one of these parents up here for a parent teacher conference. Depending on what area in the hood you live in, you have it. Listen, Ray Charles had a better chance of perming your hair without burning you than you got for those parents to come up there to the school for a parent teacher conference. But I went up there to the school and I had a parent teacher conference. Well, it was just a parent with the principal conference because the parents never showed up. And the principal told me this, I swear, it was a black woman principal. I swear, she told me, she was like, well, you're just gonna have to enroll your son in some type of self-defense class or something like that. I'm like, wait a minute, what? You telling me to enroll my son in a self-defense class because these little demons that you got in the school, and they parents don't care about them, and they out here disrupting the neighborhood, and the little boys, they were neighborhood disruptors. And the principal told me, she was like, yeah, that's what I had to do for my son. I told him once he enrolled in self-defense, he didn't have a problem anymore. And I said, ma'am, with all due respect, what type of solution is that? I don't understand, because it's not about being afraid. You shouldn't have to be subjected to this type of foolishness. Your kid should not have to be subjected to that. So, to make a long story short, Jay, how did you end up dealing with it? Well, I just took him out to school because I said, here's the thing, and this is why I say I'm torn, because I said I was at the point where, you know what? Touch my son again and I'm going to kick your... So I was at that point. Yes, as an adult, because I'm just like, I see what is going on. So thankfully, and here's the deal. I understand every parent is not in position to transfer their kids and do all of that. So look, I don't, I don't know, but that's just what I did. I transferred him out of a school. Matter of fact, I transferred him out of the Chicago public school system, period. And from third grade on, he was in a private school. So I paid for education from third grade all the way through college. So I've been paying tuition since he was in third grade because I believed in investing in my son. And thankfully I had the disposable income to be able to do so, because here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. And I would tell my son this all the time. We go dropping him off and we riding through the hood. How are you parked? How do you have a big fancy Escalade or the newest Benz, and you dropping your child off in these raggedy dumps of these public schools, and you riding up in these fine automobiles, and you dropping your child off at this stupid death trap? I'm like, that's parents. When I look at parents like that, I be like, you are part of what your child's problem is. You are a part of what your child's problem is, because how do you do that? How do you invest all that money in that type of car note? You got money to pay tuition. Downsize that car. Get you a look. Listen, my son and I, we used to laugh all the time at my car. I said, I'm going to ride the roll of the car off this Corolla. I'm going to ride it off until all the letters fall off the car. I'm not getting another car, because I'm going to invest that money. Instead of paying a car note, I'm going to pay tuition. And that's what I did. That is what I did. And thankfully, and listen, got a nice, got some nice child support. So, it all worked out for me. But everybody doesn't have that story. So, what does a parent do in that situation when they don't have the ability or they don't have the resources to move their kids out the environment? You shouldn't have to move. You shouldn't have to go through all of that. These kids should be taught to go to school, sit down and get your lesson and leave people alone. That's what needs to be taught. They need to bring some out. And I don't know, I don't have any school age kids, so I don't know if they have any anti-bullying curriculum in the schools. But if they don't, they definitely need to invest in that. They definitely do. And then listen, for those kids, because I don't believe that every kid can be helped and every kid can be saved. I'm never going to tell you that. Some kids have been exposed to so much that they are doomed before they even start. Jay, how you going to say that about a kid? I believe, I will say it again, I don't think that all kids can be saved because some of them are already rotten to the core. They're born into it. These spirits, it's a number of things. So I'm never going to say all kids can be saved, but I do think a vast majority of them can be saved if some proper protocol and procedures are put into place. But what happened to that woman and her kids the other day? That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And listen, I don't know about you all, and maybe I've missed it, but I haven't heard anything from this slew-footed mayor of the city of Chicago. What does he have to say about this? What does that pot-belly governor of Illinois have to say about this foolishness? Because they got something to say about listen, and then the immigrants, and we're going to talk about ICE. Hey, I'm just saying, make other issues precedent as well. Since you're out there dealing with social issues and social matters, touch on this, Mr. Mayor. Touch on this, Mr. Governor. And while y'all touching on it, unhand some of that money out them purse strings and redirect some of that money into the schools in the hoods so that they can get the proper resources that they need. Because we all know that these schools in the hood are underfunded. We already know that. They underfunded, under everything. Only thing that they got a lot of is violence. But then y'all want to act like y'all, we don't know what's going on. Y'all know what's going on over there. Because y'all it's specifically set up that way. It's specifically set up. But look, something has to be done. Okay? Now, I have talked and got that part off my chest. Now, let me tell y'all, let's get into the foolery. Because I've already been I've been deep long enough, but I felt like that needed to be talked about because it's some changes that really, really, really need to take place. And that was just an important issue that was just definitely, it was definitely disturbing. And I'm just hoping that some things are done about that. Now, speaking of things being done about that, now, what do you all think about, look, ladies, Thanksgiving is coming up, Christmas is coming up, and listen, this is the romantic proposing season and things of that nature. So, ladies, if your man bought you a ring that was worth $49.99 from Walmart, and he proposes to you with that $49.99 ring, what say ye? What are you doing? How are you answering? Are you answering yes? Hold on. I feel like I'm sitting so low, y'all. Sorry. Hold on. What are you doing? Oh, I was sitting. Why y'all tell me I look low? $49.99. Are you accepting the proposal? Are you accepting the ring? $49.99 for your engagement ring. Are you accepting it? Are you happy? Are you like, oh my God, I don't care how much the ring costs, $49.99? How do you feel? What are you doing? You accepting it, or are you like, listen, I don't know who sent you over here and why you playing these type of games with me, but you better go ahead, you better go and ask somebody. Would you have that type of attitude about it, or would you say, you know what? Listen, Jay, the ring is not important. Just as long as I got my man, I got my man, I got my man, I got my man. Or is the ring important? $49.99. Now, I'm going to be honest with you all. Don't come to me with no $49.99 ring. Just don't. Do not. I'm not even going to sit up there and lie like that. Don't come to me with no $49.99 ring. Just don't. You're not. Here's the thing. I feel like I'm not a materialistic person. I'm really not. But you're not going to come to me with the ring valued at the amount of coffee that I drink a week. No. To me, that's saying no effort. I would prefer for you not to get me a ring, and let's do something, that's going to impact us as a unit before you give me a $49 ring. Like, let's do something else symbolic. Like, we can do something else. But you're not gonna lowball me with no $49.99 ring. And I'm not asking that he breaks the bank. But come on, you being good and grown at this age, and if $49.99 is the best that you can do for a ring, we shouldn't be getting married. We should not. It's some other things that need to be worked on before getting married. But again, the ring, let's do something else. Like, to be honest, I really don't even need a ring. I really don't. You don't have to give me a ring. Let's listen. Can we go half on this land? What we got? Can we go ahead and get this property? Can we do this? It's so many other things that money can be used for. But I just don't play in my face with a $49.99 ring. Just don't. Do not. You would be better off just bringing some roses and some nice and then just proposing like that without a ring. But do not insult me with no crackerjack. Listen, I done bought. Listen, I get gift cards valued more than $49.99. I get those for Christmas daily basis. Listen, I drink more than $49.99 worth of coffee in a week. You're not gonna do that. You're not. $49.99, and especially if he a coffee drinker too. So I'm like, listen, we throw $49.99. By Wednesday, we done spent more than $49.99 on drinking coffee and eating out. We've already spent that by Wednesday. To me, at this point where I'm at, okay? But now listen, you got the dude that's $49.99. That's what's in his range. That's what his pockets can buy. You accept it. So every person's situation is different. Everybody is used to something different. But what I'm saying, for me, you're not going to take me back. Like, I don't feel like I want to drop down from where I'm currently at. If I'm drinking $50 worth of coffee, you're not going to come to me with no $50 ring. We just not going to do it. But again, I don't need a ring because I'm not a materialistic person. So I'm looking at it just off the sheer value. Get something else that's going to be valuable, that's going to help our future. Do something like, give me some stocks. Do something. Listen, I bought you this stock, do something. But it doesn't have to be like, I'm open for unconventional ways. So I'm not the ring, it doesn't like, that's not, oh, I love this ring. Because if you know me, then he would know that, yeah, I mean, I know she'll like it, but she'll be fine if I got her something else. That's how in tune he is with me, because he knows what I like, and then I'm in tune with him. I know what he like. So, but for people, the $49, if that's where you are, then that's where you are. If you're a person that say, listen, I don't be drinking all that and no coffee like that. Listen, when I get coffee and drink it and eat out like that, it's a once in a while splurge. Take that $49.99 ring. Take it and build and run with it. So I'm not saying everybody should be turning that $49 ring down. It just, look at where you are, look at what you're doing and what you got going on. Look at what they're doing, what they got going on. And if it makes sense to accept the $49.99 ring, accept it. But if it doesn't make sense, then, listen, move around. Now, I know I'm probably get a little slack off of that. And it's okay, because again, I said I'm not a materialistic person, but you're not going to undervalue me and say, oh, well, $49 and we're not doing that. $49, the $49.99 ring, this brother, he probably don't have no car, and this is all he can afford. Take the ring. Take it. Because he loves you. Take it. Again, you don't have to, I don't need a ring to be shown that you love me, because I want to see, I'm looking at how you treated me and how our relationship is going, and I gauge how much love is there between, how, depending upon how the relationship is. So that's where I place the value for the relationship, and how, the tone for the relationship, how things are between us. But for me, I'm just like, I'm not gonna don't bring no $49. Don't you bring no $49 ring over here, because I will definitely be asking you, who sent you? Did your big brother send you over here? Well, let me tell you something. Go back and send your big brother, and make sure he has a grown man ring. Don't come over here with that little Smith. I'm like, man, give me that ring. I'll swallow that ring and burp it up. This little pebble, little stone. Look, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. But again, for the man that this is all he can afford, I'm not telling her to turn this down. You accept it, and then you build from it and you do better. That's that part. You take it, you build from it, and you do better. Now listen, speaking of building and doing better. So we had a lady, she says, a man telling a woman that if she acts like a wife, then he will marry her. What do you guys think about that? And first of all, what is acting like a wife? Fellas, tell me, what is that? What do you want a woman to act like a wife? Does that make you want to marry her? And what is acting like a wife? Does acting like a wife means that maybe she's cooking for you, or is it what does acting like a wife mean to men? Because I know for a woman, and I want to hear from you fellas, so drop it in the comments. Let me know, what does acting like a wife mean? And do you all want to see women acting like a wife? Because if she's acting like a wife, then that will compel you to want to marry her. So, just as a woman thinking of it and listening to it, in my opinion, and I want to know what the fellas say. So fellas, drop it in the comments. Let me know, what does acting like a wife mean? But when I hear acting like a wife, I would think that acting like a wife means that he's looking for someone to take care of him, like possibly cook for him, do his laundry, and just make sure his household things are together and he's taken care of. That to me would seem like acting like a wife. But fellas, again, I want to know what you all think acting like a wife means. What does acting like a wife mean to you all, fellas? What does that mean? And is there some validity to the statement when the young lady says, she says that a man telling a woman to act, that if she acts like a wife, then he will marry her. And just on looking from a woman's perspective, listen, that's, to me, that's just some BS. A man, listen, he knows, if you don't have to act like nothing, you just have to be that chick. If you're not that chick, then this is the stuff that men tell women that are not their person. This is the string along stuff, because these are blanket statements. That's a lot of times that a man will say, act like a wife. And then guess what we'll do? We'll go and start cooking for him and cleaning and doing all this other stuff. But in his mind, that's not what his ideal of acting like a wife is. So it's like, if you ever notice, ladies, if a man ever tells you that, follow up with it. What does acting like a wife mean? What does that mean? And see what kind of response you get to it, because a lot of times that statement is just a huff and fluff statement. That is a statement, that's a string along statement. That's to keep you dangling on. He's still out there searching. He still has not found his person, honey. And he is content with you being there because you are something for him to do. So he's going to continue to do you as long as you allow him to. He's going to continue to do you until you say, you know what? Listen, I'm done and I'm going to move on. Like, I'm done. I'm done. Don't, no ultimatums, no getting mad, no any of that. Just be done and you have to move on. But that is definitely a string along statement that men make when, again, you're not their person. They will tell you anything to send you off, but they're not going to be adamant and just say, you know what? You're not the one for me. They are almost never going to tell you that. They're never going to tell you that until they find what they're looking for. Then they don't care. At that point, they have no use for you anymore because they've already found who they're looking for. So when you get that, yeah, you gotta show me you more of a wife. You gotta show me that you can be a wife. And I think that that's some huff and fluff. But fellas, if you want to drop in the comments, let me know so that I can let the ladies know, what do you think about that? Is there some truth to that? Will that prompt a man to want to marry a woman if she starts to act like a wife? And if she does start acting like a wife, what does acting like a wife means? What does that look like to men? Because I know what it looks like to a woman. We know what it looks like and what it sounds like to us. But when you all say that, what does that actually mean? What are you actually looking for when you say you want her to act like a wife? And a lot of times the fellas are not going to be specific about that because they don't know. A lot of times I don't think that they know. Again, I just think that that's a tactic to string you along, keep you holding on, because he didn't say he won't marry you. He's telling you what his false desires are before he would even consider you. Ladies, listen. Trust me, take it from somebody that have been lied to, played all kinds of bull junkie. That is a string along. It's a string along tactic. Okay. From my opinion. But I want the fellas to drop in the comments what they think and what does this mean. And we can get into that. But listen, speaking of get into that, And I feel like I can feel her on this, and I definitely feel bad for her. Actress Vivica Fox, she says that her biggest career regret, y'all ready? Drum roll, please. Her biggest career regret is not having any kids. Oh my God, I felt that in my gut when I read that. I'm just like, oh my God, like it's so crazy. It's like you go and you build all this stuff, you have this amazing career, and you never had any babies. Oh my God. Listen, despite how these cartoon characters are out here trying to clown women for having babies or clowning baby mamas, listen, let me tell you something. I will be a baby mama all day long, all day strong, before I be a woman that have got up there and said, you know what? Make this very statement. My biggest regret was not having any kids. Listen, because ladies, father time, listen, we only have a designated amount of time to have a baby. You do, so don't listen, and I don't want to hear you all saying, oh, when Janet had a baby in her 50s and such and such had a baby when she was 55. You don't have their money. It is high risk. Do you have the doctors and the teams that is needed to ensure that you and your geriatric baby, because that's exactly what it will be considered, a geriatric pregnancy. And those are often high risk pregnancies. Like they say after 35, they say that, listen, your chances of being a high risk pregnancy, it increases. And what does that mean? That means that your chance of having complications for the baby, it is greater the older a woman gets. So listen, so yes, I know career is important, and listen, the grind is in there, but I will say this, listen to what Vivica Fox just said, because here it is, she's 60 or 60 something, and she regrets not having kids. Now, all the money in the world, she'll never get to experience childbirth unless she's one of those women that's willing to, risk her life going through all these, crazy procedures to have a child. But it's like at 60 years old, who's trying to sit up there and deal with crying babies and changing pampers when you got your own other issues going on? If menopause hasn't kicked in, because if menopause has kicked in, then the deal is done. It's a no-go. No kids will be coming up out of there. And I often feel bad for women that don't have kids. If you've made the choice to not have kids, then that's one thing. She's not missing out on anything, because she's like, listen, I never wanted to have them jokers, no way. So that woman, this conversation is not for her. I'm talking to the women that did everything right. Listen, you went to school like they told you to. You got the degrees. You did this. You did that. But you never had kids. And your heart desire is to have kids. And that window of opportunity is closing. What do you tell a woman that wants to have kids and she's single and her window of opportunity is narrowing? Let's talk about that. That's a conversation that needs to be had, because it's real. Like, fellas, they can slang that dong and slong that dong for a long time, and they can just pop kids anywhere. But ladies, it's not so for us. Like, our window, it winds down. And if you are a woman that, you look around like Vivica Fox just did, And she looks around and she's like, man, I've accomplished all of this, but my biggest regret is not having any kids. I wish I would have had kids when I had the chance. But a lot of times, the demands of the career, and we don't want all the changes and things like that our bodies go through, because let's be honest, in her field of acting, everything is real. You gain weight, you have a baby, and a woman, her body goes through all kinds of changes. Some women never bounce back. Some women look like they've never had any kids. Some women go up under the knife to get all that surgery to look like they've never had kids. Whatever the case is, if being a mother is important to you, I think that should be put on your list. We make all these lists, but you need to put in motherhood in there somewhere. Now, Jaye, I want to be a mother, but I don't have a partner. I'm not married, and I'm not seeing anybody consistently. What do I do? I can't tell y'all, because listen, this is when the petty side of me, because I told you I am kind of petty. So inbox me and I'll tell you, but I can't openly just say the bad things because it'll be some low down stuff. But I'm just like, you know what? Listen, sometimes you got to do what you need to do to get what you listen. Nothing that I'm talking about is illegal, or trust me, it's nothing bad. However, morally, some people may frown upon it, but at the end of the day, a discussion can be had with some. Listen, it's plenty of dudes out there. It's plenty of dudes that will knock you up with no recourse. Like, I'm just like, oh, but I want to listen, and I'm not saying go out and just have a random baby or have a oops baby or anything like that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if your window of opportunity is closing in like this, you got some choices that you got to make, because once those eggs are depleted and menopause and all that other foolishness kicks in, your chance is over. Yes, you can always adopt. There are plenty of kids out there that need to be adopted. That will always remain an option. But for a woman that said, you know what, I want to experience having a kid. I want to know what it's like to give birth. I want to know what it's like to be pregnant. I want to know what it's like to feel the kid kick and all this and that. I want to feel. Well, first, I'm going to tell you one thing. You're not missing out on the actual delivery part. That foolishness right there. That you can just block. If you could just go from being pregnant to having the baby with no pain, then it would be a great experience. But those hours where you tussle to get them jokers here, that's a force to be reckoned with. But I will say, listen, motherhood is a beautiful thing. Motherhood is very important, and it's been one of the joys. Like, I'm glad that I had my son when I did. I really am. Like, I just, I am, because it was just a perfect age, because it's just like, now I still, get to enjoy hanging out with him as an adult, because I'm like, I'm not, listen, now I do get tired, you all, about 6:00. Ain't no telling what I will start saying and doing after 6 p.m. because, I shut down. I tell my family my business hours are 5:45 a.m. to about 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Anything after that, I can't promise you what you gonna get. You may get the best of me, you may get the worst of me, but I don't know. But it's gonna be something in between until we reset the next day, because it's mandatory that I reset. I have to. But being a mom has been a great, it's been a great experience. I love being a mom. I love being an aunt, a great aunt. Like I love kids. I love that. I never wanted a whole bunch of them because you know why? Because I would be in an orange jumpsuit. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Jay, I thought you said you love kids. I do. But helping them jokers at home with that homework, let me tell you, see, that's where you can get in trouble at. You can actually get some, it can be some jail time coming along with trying to help some of these kids at home with this homework, because they'll come, I, I don't, my teacher said we got, hey, now I'm ready to tell the whole list. I'm about to tell the whole house up, okay? Tell the whole house up because I'm trying to tell you how to do the math and you telling me what the teacher said. I said, put your god doggone fingers up and this is how you can take one. Listen, I'm about to put it down, I'm about to snatch his whole wrist off, just trying to teach him to put the finger. My teacher didn't say, my teacher didn't show us that way. Well, why don't you ask your teacher? If your teacher shows you how to do it, why are you about to make my blood pressure high because you telling me what the doggone teacher did say? That's why I knew I was not a candidate for more kids. I knew. I saw my future. I saw this just like this, and we have to be walking down. What she do? What she do to them kids? She put all of them out. She put all of them out, or she left. She left them all in there. Well, what were they doing? They were sitting down at the table doing homework, and she left, and she did not come back until the next day. How do you leave your kids because I was tired of this one asking me for the math, this one asking me for the spelling. This one was asking me how to tie his shoes. This one up in here playing the drums. That's why I left. Because it was too much going on at one god doggone time. And I wasn't going to be able to do it. I wasn't going to be responsible for what I said to these kids. So now I get to give all of that to my nieces and my nephews and great nieces and great nephews. I mean, because these people constantly pumping out some kids, so it's always some activity going on. So there's never a shortage of babies going on. But for those that want kids, again, I hope that you get your heart's desire, because again, I know how much it means to me to be a mom, and I just think that if you desire to be a mother, then I hope that you definitely get your heart's desire. Now listen, you all, speaking of heart's desires, yes, you all, it is that time of year. What time, Jay? It's the holiday season, guys. Thanksgiving. Can you all believe Thanksgiving is next week? It is next doggone week. Are y'all done shopping? Do y'all have y'all stuff? I don't have my stuff. You all, I have not been able to find the hams that I need. It's a mess. It is a mess. But tonight, you all, we are talking about what not to do on Thanksgiving. Now, you may think, Jay, listen, you all know that we have some people that we are related to, or some friends and family, some friends. They need to know what and what not to do. So first of all, if you are hosting Thanksgiving, if you are hosting the dinner, first of all, let's just say this. First, Thanksgiving, let's just truly think about what it is. I know what this whole significant of it means as far as for the United States and all this other stuff. But these, these crooks that can't, and amongst some other things have come and done. But Thanksgiving to me is just that, Thanksgiving. Like, I'm thankful that we've made it to this point of the year. I'm especially thankful this year because last year around this time, when I tell you last year nearly took me out. No lie. Last year was so rough for my family and I. Like, we literally lost my uncle the day before Thanksgiving. We're up in there cooking and we get so I'm like, we lost my nephew in July, lost my aunt in, like, we lost a friend in May. It was so much going on last year that I'm just thankful to be in this place this year with the fraction of my right mind, because I never had all of it, but the fraction that I do have, I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for my family. So for me, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays because, again, I just like to reflect and be thankful. So if you're the person that's hosting Thanksgiving, first of all, let's try to eliminate the stress. Like, people go out, they have to have the perfect turkey, they have to have the perfect ham and the perfect everything. Nothing is perfect. Like, so stop stressing yourself over perfection. Okay, like, just be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for your family. Be thankful that you all are together. Oh, hold on, wait 1 second. I gotta turn y'all gotta plug my computers down. Sorry, I'm here, y'all. But be thankful for that. Now, if you are hosting, listen, here's some tips to not stress out. Like, the first thing, prepare as much as you can before Thanksgiving Day, because some people, listen, just wait till Thanksgiving Day and then they just get up and start cooking everything. Listen, like my family, what we do a potluck style Thanksgiving dinner, which means that we are all responsible for bringing our dish or our dishes. Now, here's what you are not to do. When we're talking about bringing your dishes, I have a ding, ding, ding on what you should not do. This is very important. Thanksgiving is not the time to experiment. Okay? It is not. Jay, what you mean by experiment? Thanksgiving is not the time to say, you know what? I think I want to make the dressing this year. The devil is a liar, okay? You make the dressing on Easter. You make it on some other day. You make the dressing for your birthday. Do not get in the kitchen and decide you want to make the dressing. The devil is a liar, okay? If you are not the person that's designated to make the dressing, you're not going to experiment on us, okay? So stick to whatever dish you can make. Stick to the dish that people like from you. Don't go trying to get Auntie Pearl's peach cobbler recipe and then you want to experiment on us for Thanksgiving. No, you should have gave us Auntie Pearl's peach cobbler for Groundhog's Day. We're not going to do this on Thanksgiving. No, we are not. You stick to what you are famous for, okay? Stick to what is popping in your life. Do not come over here with these other, I saw this on No. We reject you right now. You and your science experiment will not come in this kitchen. If you know that nobody ever ask you to make anything, it's probably because you can't cook or your food is nasty. I'm just going. I had to say it, you all. I had to say it. If at any point during the year nobody asks you to make anything, ever, they always be like, won't you stop and get some juice? Won't you stop and get the cranberry sauce? Won't you stop and get some paper plates? If you are always on paper plate duty or paper cups or, the juice in the pop duty, you probably can't cook, beloved, or your food is nasty. Okay, we listen, we have to say this now so that you can know what not to do, because we're going to have a great Thanksgiving. So don't go up in there trying to cook and your people really don't mess with your food. Okay, so so let me just say it so nobody in your family have to tell you. How about that? Let me just tell you what's the signs that you can't cook, so just so that your people don't have to hurt your feelings. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not gonna hurt your feelings, but I'm gonna tell you with love why you are on that duty. You can't cook, or your food just be nasty. And if they just tell you, baby, just come, then you don't even choose the right type of pops. You just don't do any of that right, but you are a good guest and they glad to have you over. So just be thankful for that. If you are the person that's hosting, be flexible and expect the unexpected. Make sure everybody feel welcome, even if you got somebody that show up at your house that wasn't invited. But I have a little disclaimer for that. You all do not come bringing everybody to these people's house. If you were invited to dinner, be thankful that you got an invitation. The right thing to do is to ask the host, can you bring somebody with you? Don't just, if I invited you, don't just show up with everybody else, because I may need to make sure that it's enough food. Which, I always think it's always wise to cook more food, because I hate when people are not able to eat. I hate when people, hold over food and treat people bad over food. It does something to me. So we don't want to, monitor and police monitor and be, parole officer and, jail guard the food and everything. But it would be nice that if you were invited somewhere, especially if you're a single person and you want to bring a little friend with you, ask the host, is it okay? I want to bring my little friend with me. Is it okay? That's always the right thing to do. And then when you are being invited somewhere, bring something other than your appetite. Please bring something. Bring a pie. Even if they say they don't need anything, bring something anyway. It's just proper etiquette. Like, don't show up to anybody's place unannounced. And empty-handed. Even if it is family, you still want to always bring something. Adults should be bringing something. Adults should not be walking to my denim house just with an appetite. Look, now, come on. Come on now. Look. Now, you ate all while you was a kid. My dear, tired of you. My dear, tired of you coming over there without, listen. And then you bring and you leave. You come empty-handed, but you leave with all these to-go trays, and then your guests leave with to-go trays, and then you haven't brought anything. That ain't right. That's what we're not going to be doing. We're not going to be doing this on Thanksgiving. We're not going to be showing up to people's house with uninvited guests, and we didn't ask the host, can we bring somebody? We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to show up to people's houses empty-handed and then leave with a lot of food. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. Now, when you talk about, listen, Jay, we not doing that. What if you are in a situation and you're invited to dinner, but it's somebody that you really don't want to be around, like because listen, again, listen, some people are just funny acting, okay? Some people just funny, and they invite you knowing that they listen. I don't know why people do this. People that know they don't like other people in their house or in their space, you all stop hosting things. We know that you have a nice house, okay? We know that. But stop inviting people over, and you really don't be wanting people over in your space. Stop inviting people because we can feel the vibes in the air. It's uncomfortable. Leave us alone. We want to stay where we can be and be comfortable. Stop hosting Thanksgiving dinner if you thinking that they gonna mess up your marble floors or your marble on the counter. Stop hosting it. Just go somewhere else, or you be the guest to somebody else's house, but stop hosting things. And you don't like people in your house like that, but you having it so that you can show off your house. But then when people get over there, you make them feel uncomfortable. Don't host. Do not host. And if you have been invited to that person's house, y'all know that person that invite people over that really don't be wanting people over for Thanksgiving, but they know that they just upgraded their TV and they got the fireplace, they got the new fireplace and all this other stuff, and they got that done and they want to show everybody. You're not gonna stress us out. Don't you all, if y'all know it's that person, now don't set yourself up for it. Just don't go to these folks' house. How do you decline? I'm sorry, you know what? I already made other plans this year. That's the easy way to say it so that you don't hurt people feelings. Like I'm sorry, I already made plans. So I got other arrangements this year or whatever it is. But don't put yourself in that situation because life is too short to be sitting up in these people fancy, beautiful house being uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't even feel comfortable to eat my greens and my ham, and I want to take my pants loose and just get comfortable, but I can't even get comfortable because she sitting up here, the whole, she sitting up here looking so intense, looking like somebody gonna drop something on. Look, why you got us over here? You will not have me feeling prisoner and like I'm being held prisoner in your house. My food can't even digest under all that stress and under that pressure. The ham and the chitlins, everything, it just sit right here. It can't digest because you on some foolishness. I cannot enjoy my meal because you on some foolishness. You stressing me out. You have my whole digestive system stressed out because you keep looking over here, looking at us, thinking we gonna drop some pop or something on your rug. Why would you have us over here? So avoid those people's houses by any means necessary. Now, look, with your kids, we all love the kids, okay? We love the babies. We do. We do. But some of you all need to stay home and just cook for your kids. Because some of you all have kids that are not trained for outside. Jay, what you mean trained? Them kids, them ain't dogs. Listen, you still have to teach and train kids. Jay, what you mean about teaching and training kids? What we are not going to do on Thanksgiving is have our kids, and the kids that we're talking about. The kids that like to touch on everything, they wipe their nose, and then they come and rub it all over your couch, and they run all through the house because it's a new space and a new environment, and it just listen, it's something about being in a new environment that just get these little jokers riled up. And baby, you got them running through them folks' house like they in a jungle gym, and then you gonna sit there and you gonna act like you don't hear them running. No, 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 no. Some break. That's when then you jump up. But meanwhile, your kids are up in there doing suplexes and somersaults off these people couch, they brand new white fluffy couch. Your kids is up in there doing somersaults. Listen, the little one is up in there, just strangling the little dog, the little teacup dog, little 2-year-old over there just strangling the little dog, the dog trying to get away from your kid. Look, we not doing that this Thanksgiving. We not. You gonna have a talk with your, listen, here's how you know you stay at home with your kids for Thanksgiving. If your kids run through your house and jump and get all on your furniture and stuff, and you don't have a problem with that, you need to stay at home. You need to stay at home because other people don't like that. You cannot let them just jump on people's furniture like they at Fly Zone or Jump Zone. If they want to do all that jumping, let them know it's a time and a place for all of that. And we don't do that at people's houses. Like you don't jump on furniture. That's just what they told us back in the day coming up. I don't know. Maybe you all, the new people, y'all let these kids jump on your furniture. Listen, quiet as kept. We wasn't even allowed in the front room where the furniture was. All we could do when we were little, it's like, listen, it's like they had a gun line. You couldn't cross that gun line, boss. All you could do is look and peep through and look at the living room and just wonder how the furniture felt. Oh, it looked like it's soft. It looked like it looked real. Yeah, they kept it real nice. You know why? Because they kept your behind up out of there. It was against the law. It was law back then. Kids did not go in the front room. And tell me if I'm lying. Just say, Jay, you ain't lying. Kids did not go in the front room where the furniture was. Wherever if they had furniture in the dining room, the living room, wherever it was, kids were not allowed. We had to just sit there and look at the furniture like this. Oh, that's nice. We look at this and we looking at it this way. But go in there if you want to. Only time you were able to go in there is if your mama or your daddy called you in there, they were sitting in there and they called you and they wanted you to do something. And now any other time you move real slow if they in the room or in the kitchen. But if they in the front room and they call you, oh, that's your chance to get, baby, you done came up in this world. That's your chance to get up in there. You run up in there real fast. And then what you do? You get there and you rubbing on the couch, but you low key doing it. Or your mama sitting on the couch, and so then you put your hand on the couch, like you're so attentive and you listening so to what your mama's saying, but you just want to feel the furniture. And what they tell you, get your hands off my furniture. If you get a stain on my furniture, I'm gonna put a stain on your. Oh, listen, and you know you didn't want no stain. You didn't want no stain on your. Because them stains, baby, them stains meant whelps. That means that they was getting that good cord was going to be hitting your behind. So if you got those kids that you just let them be free and they're just like free agents and they can do whatever it is that they want to do, you may want to stay at home. You really may want to do that. You don't want to bring your kids up in there and messing these people houses up and let them rip and run all through the house. Next thing we're not doing. Listen, okay? These plates, we got to talk about this, okay? How many plates are appropriate to be packed and taken after dinner is done? Because again, you cannot be that person that came to the dinner and you didn't show up with anything. If you are that person, you should be ashamed of yourself for even wanting to take something unless the host insists that you take something. But if the host did not give it to you, then don't go in there and help yourself to any plates. So the rule is if you didn't bring anything, you shouldn't be taking anything. Don't pack no to-go plates or anything unless the host asks you to. If you got all your kids, it's listen, do not go packing dinner for Friday. That's unless the host tell you, listen, make sure you take something for all the kids. We got enough left. You can take whatever you need, whatever you want to take, then you take it. Those are the only times when you should be packing like you crazy. But if the host does not tell you to do that, then don't do that. If dinner is still being served and like you got there early and you got some other stops to make, then you eat and you socialize and you leave empty-handed. But now if you're a person that, listen, you done contributed a lot, then I would be like, okay, well, I'm just going to take a plate to go. I feel like that's proper protocol. You can do that. But what we're not going to do is get in here and stack these plates yay high, or Sheila came and Kevin didn't want to come, but then guess what? If Sheila didn't bring nothing and fix nothing, Sheila not taking no plate home for Kevin. Jay, how you gonna now that's wrong. Now she should be able to take a plate home. I'm just saying, however y'all decide to roll. But go according to the host discretion. Don't just go up in there and fix it how you want to fix it. Listen. Avoid these family dramas. Listen, if you know that you cannot hold your liquor, don't drink at the Thanksgiving dinner. Don't drink before the Thanksgiving dinner. You wait till you get your behind at home and then you liquor out. But do not go ruining everybody's Thanksgiving dinner because you can't hold your liquor. Now you ready to fight everybody that's there because you done drunk them spirits. Don't be that person. Don't be that family member that ruins Thanksgiving dinner for your family because, again, you can't hold your liquor. Don't listen. Don't be Uncle Rufus that come every year. He come, listen, drinking that Seagram's gin, drinking what they call it, the bumpy face, drinking that old cheap liquor, and now you get up in here, now you cussing everybody out, cussing all the kids out, cussing. Listen, don't let his ex-wife come up in there. Look, you all keep them exes. Look, now, look, some people are messy. Do not be going to these exes' family. And he done moved on with somebody else. We are not doing that. Oh, he ain't got to invite me. His mama invited me, and I'm still cool with Miss Ross. So I'm going over there because she invited me. Stay your tacky behind at home. Stay your tacky trifling behind at home. You are not the girlfriend anymore. Some people love to go stirring up some drama. Stay from these people's house. Yes, you and Miss Ross is still friends and you can go over and see Miss Ross the next day. But don't go over there and your ex gonna be there with his new person because it ain't gonna be nothing but a bunch of mess and you just as messy as Miss Ross is. So stay from out of them folks' house. Stay from over these exes' houses during the holiday, especially when you know that they have moved on and they have new people in their life. Stay out of these people's face. I ain't going over there for him. I still be talking to his mama. Me and his mama still be okay. We not saying you can't still hang with his mama. Thanksgiving just ain't the day to do it. Especially when her son gonna be there with his new boo. But Miss Ross still call me her daughter-in-law, but you're not her daughter-in-law because his son chose somebody else. So listen, stop with that foolishness. Wake up. Listen, stop with that delusional mess. Her son has moved on. You and her need to do the same thing. You all need to move on. He has chose somebody else. But do not be going to these folks' houses knowing that you're going to start up some mess, knowing that these people are moved on, and you going over there starting up some mess because the ex is there. The ex is there. The ex is bringing his new person. or if you still cool with his sisters or his aunties, the whole family. It don't matter who you cool with. Go with your family. Thanksgiving is a time for family. You are no longer a part of the family. I'm still part of the family. Jay, I talk to his sister all the time, but you're not with the person that made you family, which is their brother or son or grandson, and you're not with them. So let these folks enjoy time with their family, and you go find you some business somewhere else. Because I can promise you, the only reason why you going over there is because you're single. Now you gonna go over there and try to tear up their stuff and tear up their holiday. But if you got your own new boo, then you will not be thinking about going over your ex's house because you already got your own thing going on. But guys, look, those are just some of the things. We not gonna be cussing each other out. We not gonna be clowning. We not gonna be doing any of that. If you can't cook, again, do not try to cook on Thanksgiving. This is not the day to experiment with that. Let the professionals do it. You can cook the day after, from Friday to the day before Christmas Eve. You can experiment on anything with that, and we will be the judge of how you do, and we'll let you know if you've been inducted and if it's safe for you to cook for Christmas. But until then, do not, I repeat, do not go experimenting with recipes for Thanksgiving. Don't go over packing this your ish from people's houses. Do not take your kids to these folks' house if your kids are not trained, if they don't know how to sit down and not be running through these folks' house like they at Jump Zone. Do not take your kids. You just have you a nice little simple dinner at home and let your kids run and continue to tear up your stuff. But do not take these kids to these people's houses. Guys, listen, I hope that you all have an amazing Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. Enjoy just togetherness. Enjoy being with each other. Again, it's not how big the turkey is. It's not about the turkey. It's not about the ham. It's about sharing and being thankful for life and being thankful for family. So take care of yourselves and each other. Have a happy Thanksgiving, you all. Until next time, peace out. Good night, you guys. Bye. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, guys. Take care of yourselves. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving, family. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving.